Definitely, as a conclusion, founders should be playing around with these tools, or at the very least, to speed up processes and development. So let's walk through a little use case. No, I think we talk about one. I think it'd be super fun if you share your screen.
Of course. Let's try to build it live, because it's always better to try to build it live. Let me share my screen. Okay, so do you want to introduce like the use case, or I do? Okay, so the basic idea is that I have a lot of people that come to me with ideas of a startup. And one of the key advices that a friend of mine, Jacobo from Arengu, told me is to just apply to YC. Whatever startup you have, apply to YC, and you never know if you'll be entering. So what if we make a tool that assesses your probability to actually enter YC based on the recent people that applied? I think that could be a really great tool, and actually it could be like a side project with some monetization or a free tool to actually capture leads. So the process starts with actually thinking, okay, which is like the part that doesn't get the credit, but is the most important thing. And here we have three problems. The first one is to actually have all the information of the YC companies. The second one is to actually train an assistant to actually assess your probability. And the third one is to actually build the app. So we want to tackle that in that order. For the first one, you mentioned Gamloop, which is a really great tool. It's like Zapier, but more visual. If I define it as if Miro and Zapier had a baby, I think that it's exactly what Gamloop does. And it's AI automation visual. So you can create flows, and you have all of these nodes that they call them, which you can just use to integrate into your applications. But the key things is that you can ask AI, extract data. They have this really great web scrapper, and you can use some predefined or pre-created tools to actually get the results. In this case, I had the scenario already mounted because that's like the difficult part. It's a template. It's not magic. But basically, as you can see, we have this interface, which will be running at the moment. While this is running, we have this part here that actually decides which batch you want to like extract the data. And then we have this flow here, this subflow, that actually goes to YC, to the YC page, uses the code that we use it, and tries to extract the data of the startups that it's actually seeing. It has some deduping for duplicates, and actually writes to Google Sheets at the end with all of the information. Okay, so it's a pretty simple workflow, but there are like some key things that were very difficult to actually do 2 months ago. Like, for example, this extracting part is not easy, or it wasn't easy if you didn't know actually how to code. So it will take some time, but in the end, you will get a Google Sheets like this, which all of the startups that are in their directory. In here we have the winter 25, but you can actually like go to whatever batch that you want, because we have all of them. And as you can see, the interesting thing is that it did like the duplicate part really well, because we have like thousands of startups here, which is not ideal, but it gave us automatically this like formatted with all the information. So now we have all of the information of the winter 25, like Y Combinator. So how do we use this for actually creating the assistant? So we have to go to platform.openai, and this is really confusing because I don't know you, but in my case, people that tell me, I am paying $20 a month for OpenAI, why cannot I use the API?
I know exactly what you were going to say. Yeah, I agree. Makes no sense.
So this is different, and you have to pay per tokens. So you actually have to put your credit card there. It normally is like cents, but yeah, I have spent like a lot of money.
Disclaimer here, be careful at setting the limits if you don't want to, have a bad surprise one day.
Yeah, for sure. And basically in here, we can go to the dashboard and go to the assistance part. The assistance is basically like custom GPTs, but in the backend. So it's the same thing that you see in the interface, but in here, we will see it like more how it's built. So in this case is... Yeah.
And a parenthesis there, Alex, is I know for a lot of people, this will feel overwhelming, even just the interface, right? But it really isn't, Right. This is, at least in my experience, this is 10 times easier, more visual than the previous version. And if anything, everything's going into lesser UX, more prompting, even to get to this point. And this is basically a custom GPT, right? This is like a backend custom GPT that you're doing, that you're you're training here, right?
And the training part is the really interesting because we can give them like the system instructions, which is like the basic output. In this case, for example, you're an agent, you have to tell me the probabilities to enter Y Combinator. And the key thing is that we are defining here the criteria, which I totally invented. You should definitely like take more time to actually figure out which are like the key parts. Maybe you can say your insights and how we want the result. Okay, which in this case is like the startups that are similar, the description, the % rate of entering Y Combinator, and a reason to showcase that. But the key thing is how do we actually input the information of all of the startups that we scraped? Because if you go to files and try to upload the CSV that we actually downloaded from Excel, it won't let you. Okay, it only accepts like PDFs or images. And that's a problem because we needed to actually go into the CSV. So a little trick is to actually turn on the code interpreter, and there you can actually upload CSVs. So now our assistant has all of the information about our CSV of all the companies that were on Y Combinator.
And so, Alex, just so people understand, what you're doing here is, imagine you had a baby and you're training the baby on something and you're just putting what are the instructions to get up, stand up on 2 feet and walk. So instead of that, You're just telling it, here are the instructions. In this case, you would actually go and look at the YC website and their call for startups, embed that into the system instructions, add the export that you just provided with Gumloop and whatever other instance you have, right? And then you just set and go.
Exactly. And the baby example is really great because you really have to be like that descriptive of everything that has to be. Like the more description that you add, the better results that you're going to actually get. Okay, so if we tackle like the first two problems, let's go to the third one, which is to actually create the app itself. And for that, I use this really cool tool, which is called Lovable Prompts app, which is sponsored by me.
This is a friend of yours, right? Let's give him a shout out.
Yeah, it's David from Velada. Really amazing maker, really amazing product, and really amazing tool. Yeah, so basically you have to describe your idea in like simple terms, not so simple. The more detail that you actually get, the better. So in this case, for example, I want to have a tool. We should actually like refine this a little bit more, but for like example, it will be more than enough. And we'll just click on generate prompt. And this is like the same thing that we are doing, but with Lovable specific like information on how to actually format the prompts. So for me, this gives better results than what you said before, that going to ChatGPT and going back here and then going to Lovable. I just go here. So it will take some time, but I have it already here. But it gave us this very long prompt, very structured, with all of the information like the technology that you use, the features, the core features, the secondary features, the implementation guidance, all of the information that Lovable actually needs. So now we should go into Lovable and just paste this prompt. You can actually like input some reference image that they send you into WhatsApp for Lovable. And let's see, because Lovable is somewhat unstable today, and maybe it will work, maybe not. Cross our fingers and try to see if Lovable will actually work today.
There's a great sponsorship opportunity for Lovable here on their Spinning Up review. Just like there was in the Zoom call interstitial, just to charge advertising space here. Because that, or either build a little snake-like game, that you can actually play while you wait for your prompt.
Yeah, because I spend so much time here.
But what happens to you is you probably multitask, right? Which is sometimes...
Yeah, preparing this podcast, I was actually cooking. So it was like putting the gnocchi in the water and then come here and like adding another prompt and then going back to the gnocchis. I wouldn't recommend it because, cooking and developing is not the best option.
That's good. You're cooking code and cooking food. I like it. Makes total sense.
Yeah. The thing with these long prompts, it will take a lot of time for the first version. Normally, if you have like this simple prompt, it will be like 1 minute max. This can be up to 5 minutes to actually deliver the first version, but it definitely is worth it. Like the output is like way better.
That on one hand, I've had to go back multiple times to the first prompt, like after just doing a bunch of noodle code. And going back, but can we just admire for a second, for people who haven't seen this, this is unbelievable. Like the fact that it's generating, you've used, here we go, and now it's here. So all right, keep going. I'll stop talking.
Yeah, it is amazing. And now we can just describe the idea with whatever, the team side, the founder experience, the number of users, the monthly revenue. We did start the company before. It is AI related. We have the MVP built. And we need this thing, which maybe will let us just skip it. Yeah, it is fake data. It is better than what people like built like a year ago. Like the UI is clean, the output is nice. I mean, this is more than enough. This is amazing.
Yeah, and it's not just a toy, right? Like you can connect your domain to this and publish it in exactly 15 seconds. You can plug it into a real baby that you've trained your assistant on the OpenAI developer platform, and it will actually be thinking for you. You can use it to iterate on your, maybe this is not the best way to start a company, but you can use it to iterate on how you would pitch your company to an accelerator or a VC. It's just amazing how fast and how, structured you can make this happen, right? So awesome, man. I think we'll cut it here. It's 30 minutes on the dot. This was epic. Let's do it again. You're the best. Everybody, where can people find you? I already called out your YouTube channel for Spanish speakers, but I think you should also do this in English because you are a really good teacher and you have a really good eye on this tool. So where can people find you?
Yeah, it's difficult to spell, but I'm on Twitter. It's called Vaughtton. I think it will be in the description. If not, you can see me at No Code Hackers on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, or web, nocodehackers.es.
Awesome. And you're doing a little batch right now, no? Like a little course specifically. Tell us a little bit about that before we go.
Yeah, we basically try to teach people how we use this into like real client scenario. So we have this course which we called Prototyping with AI for Product People. We have already 30 students. We're running the second cohort here in the summer of 25. The results of the students are like crazy, like mind-blowing what you can make with people that had no prior experience in actually building anything. It's another generation. And for me, it's like no code, but like the real no code.
100%.